Trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Trading on margin, utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or using any of our software alert products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There is a possibility that you could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest any capital or trade that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you have any doubts. Auvoria Prime does not exercise trading authority over your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade.
And right now for the news, we are at Tuesday. I'm not seeing anything real significant for today, which is kind of a good thing. So it should be kind of a normal day. A couple orange folders, but nothing really too exciting. So today, Wednesday, it looks like it could be fairly calm as well. Thursday looks like we have some.
And Thursday, yeah.
Thursday's going to have a couple of red folders, so we'll be aware of that on Thursday. So, having said that, we will go to, let's see, take us to see what our Hercules is telling us for today.
Kind of a mixed call today, it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like right now my eyes just catching over. Usually I start with the bottom two here. This is the 30-minute and the 15-minute. But these are the three that I'm mainly looking at. The 5, which is one where I'm looking for drawbacks and pullbacks. And these two are looking more for direction. So I see the Canadian dollar and New Zealand dollar are strong on the 15-minute. British pound is weak on the 15 and the 30. CAD is strong on the 30 and the 15. So right now I'm kind of looking at the CAD Swiss or CAD British pound and trading to the strength of the Canadian dollar. That's kind of what I'm looking at for that. So let's go to
2040. I thought Daniela was telling us her seat number 24C, but she's telling us the temperature. I was thinking airline still. She said ready to fly anyways. And the person in seat 24C, you need to come up to the cockpit.
Would you please
Sorry about that.
It hit my back on.
Yeah, what are you doing? What are you doing getting up?
We're about to hit some little rough air.
A little turbulence. It hit my funny bone. I'm sorry. That's great. I thought she was playing right along with the airline thing by telling us her seat number. Very good. Way to start the morning. That's good.
Okay,
that's
so
good.
Right now
Laughter's
we are
good.
sharing my, I believe I'm sharing my trading view charts. Is that right? What's that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so on the trading view, I'm looking at the CAD Swiss. We're looking at trading to the strength of the Canadian dollar. Here's my 15-minute red. Here's my 15-minute green line. I'm just going to highlight that just so sometimes it's hard to see these things. So I'm just going to highlight these a little bit. And we're going to be drawing our Fibonacci in between the two of those. So we can go, and you can see the prices right now in between these two ranges. And what I like about the 15-minute zones are they're about 62 pips apart, which gives me lots of room for to be able to break it down into those thirds and the smaller increments that we're looking at. And also gives us the room for these middle of the 61%, 50% zones. It gives us nice little target zones and there's about 7 pips in between. So there's 72.08 to 72.
What's your spread for this particular pair for you? Mine's pretty large.
The spread right now is, good question. Looks like a 2.4 spread. This is kind of a little bit more than I usually like to see. I usually, and that may be one disqualifier sometimes. Usually I don't like taking things that are more than 2 pips. 2 pips is about as, I'll go with 3 every now and then if I really like the trade. Anyway, you can see that all of our moving averages are in the right direction on the 15-minute chart. Let's go over to the 5-minute. That's the one we really like to look at. And let me move this over here so we can tweak this up a little bit. And you can see that this is our Fibonacci. Here's our little blue line. Let's kind of tweak that just a little bit right there. And let's see, make sure we got this thing set. Looks pretty good there. And so we're looking at our 15-minute zones. So this should be a 5-minute zones in here. They are. Just double check to make sure. Now these are the zones. Here's a green, here's a red, and then there's a blue down in here someplace. I can barely, let's see, where is it here? Here's our blue, See, that's not, something's not right here. Something's not looking quite right. Unless this is the, here's our red zone, here's our green zone. These are 5 minute. Now you'll see these are the red, these should be about 21 pips apart. And they are roughly 21 pips. And so the next blue zone is going to be right up in this area. And we still have the strength coming up. If we can get a close above this, we have a nice little trend line. It's breaking through our 34 periods trend line, getting a nice little push back up. And if we look down here below on the, let me take this off here right now, bring this down. You can see that the Canadian dollar is, this is our Hercules tool right here. It's all superimposed, just the Canadian and the Swiss franc. The orange one is the Canadian dollar. That's a 6 and a 0 spread. If we get a nice little close above this, let's see, 20. Actually, where is this line coming from? Well, that's a price. That's why it is. That's just the price line. So we have the break, and right now we're looking at, right now I'm looking to see where the zones are. We have thirds in between here. So if I go to my 1 minute chart, we still have the strength. Canadian dollar is still strong. Canadian dollar is still strong on the 15, still strong on the 5. Here's our, let's see, here's our price. This is the, that I believe, no, that's our, okay, it's coming up into the upper 25% zones, actually. So that's what's really what's happening here. So here's our upper 25 zone. Get a little bit of a wick pullback, and then we're going to see what happens when it comes into the zone. If we still has the same strength on this little pullback right here, we can probably take this trade. And we'd be going for 7 pips. If I put my pip counter on my lines here, here's my blue, here's my red, here's my green. We got the 1 minute close above this. We still have 2 minutes to go before this 5 minute candle closes. And with that, we have a nice little pullback. It bounced right off the green line, which is right here. This is our 2 minute green line. Let me expand this out a little bit. And let me pull my chart up here. Now we have a nice little, this is a retest that came back up, closed on the 1 minute. It's coming back, retesting this, probably retesting this moving average right now. But this green line could, this 2 minute green line can hold. We could maybe take a buy stop, and then we'd be looking at this for the target. So from the red line is the target, is a 2 minute red line. 2 minute red right there. There's my 2 minute red. Here's my 2 minute green. These are 7 pips apart. If we can get in here, we go for 7 pips. If we get in here, we get, you know, we could have our stop be all the way down here. We have some nice little barriers here. We wouldn't even come close to our stop. So this is not a bad place to take it. We still have the direction, still strong. Even on this pullback, we still have the strength. So I'm going to take this trade. And this is the CAD Swiss. I don't like this. The spread's a little bit more, but it still looks like it has a direction. So CAD Swiss over here. And we're going to do a buy on that. See if I can do it on this one. See if I have this thing that's not logged in there on that. And we're going to put my stop is going to be down here. Since it's right at this green line, I can put my stop. This is 7 pips. Here's going to be 14. I can put the stop somewhere down below this red zone. That keeps me off harm's way. It means it's got a blue line. It's got this to go through. It's got moving averages to go through. We're well out of harm's way. So here's my stop. And my target is going to be, target 1 is going to be the red line. So here's target 1. And target 2 would be up here at the blue line. So that'd be target 1. And then we can go and clone this. And we move this up to target 2, somewhere around here. I usually come back it off just a little bit, just to give us a little room. If it breaks the blue line, it could very well be going on up to the green line. But we have the strength. Everything looks good. This is staying strong. If you start seeing this thing flipping over, you may start thinking maybe starting to retrace a little bit deeper. But right now we're in this trade and we're looking at this for the target. And we're going to move on to the next one. We can look at the CAD British pound. Let's see, let me duplicate this. And CAD British pound, or pound CAD, I guess is probably what this one is. Pound.
Correct. Yeah. CAD.
Pound CAD right here. So
Pound
this can be,
CAD.
now this one's going to be going reverse because the Canadian dollar is strong. So we're going to be going to the short side on this one. Take these off here right now.
Curious on your spread on this one too, because mine's kind of crazy still.
Yeah,
Mine's over 3.
Yeah, mine's 2.1 on this one. Not great, not bad. I've seen worse.
Yeah, we have, haven't we?
Especially at the end of the day. At the end of the day, when the markets close, you'll see these normally are like a 2-point spread. You'll see them go up as high as 15. I've seen as much as 19-point spread when they close and redo the book. So if you're in a trade with a 10-point spread and they do a 13 pip spread on it, they're going to close you out.
Yeah, that's happened. That was what happened on Friday with the Aussie US. Yeah. That's when I decided to make it a swing trade. I moved my stop up because I saw that the spread was 11.
And so here's my blue line. Here's my red line. I'm going to put that put a little accent on it here so you can see a little bit better. Well, let me just do this. Let me just draw from here. Here's my blue. Here's my red. Tweak it out. Slide this thing over here just a little bit so we can see the numbers on our 5-minute chart. Come over here to a 5-minute. We'll see that here's my blue line. So we can just tweak it with this. Here's my blue line to blue line. Spread it out. Same way with the 2-minute. Again, we see all the different price points in between. It's coming in. We did get a 5-minute close beyond this 61% orange Fibonacci. That's one. Those are some of our target zones. We got the target here. Keep pulled back. The Canadian dollar is still strong. The Canadian dollar is the second currency of the pair to the British pound. The spread isn't as good as it was on the other trade. It was right now. It is. We're looking at a 5 and 2 on the 5-minute. So it did have a little bit of pullback. It looks like this. And here's our 5-minute red zone right in here. This is all drawn by we call the tool Atlas is what we're calling this one. This is a 5-minute. I just do this just so we can enhance the color a little bit. 5-minute red. And then here's a 5-minute green down here. This is just for visual purposes, just so you can see it a little bit better. These are all drawn right on the chart. So here's our 5-minute zones. These are 21 pips apart. Come over to my 2-minute chart, expand that out, and I see where my 2-minute zones, there's my blue, red, green, back to a blue again, back on this one. Right now it's trading inside this upper third. We did get the close down here. It did pull back. We had a nice move down, pulled back, but now we have a little bit of a wedge developing. If we draw the wedge on this, we get from here to here to here to here. There's our wedge. Right now it's playing inside this range. If it breaks this red 2-minute period line, if it breaks that, we're looking to go for a target. I'd like to see it break that first.
And what he's doing here, for those who've been in with AP for a while, there was a alert system called Iris, and he is doing exactly what we used to do last summer when we get the Iris alerts. He's drawing his wedge. Wedge are formations that happen regularly and that are pretty strong. They're the most popular trading strategy out there. So self-fulfilling prophecies many times.
SCP said this is confusing. Okay, we maybe need to slow down a little bit.
That's a secondary strategy. What he's doing right here is outside what we normally would do. Just to give you visuals.
Yeah, rather than sitting here drawing individual trend lines, I just use this tool, which is part of a trading view platform, is a triangle. And so basically right now we had a nice move down. It crossed inside of where we saw our Fibonacci lines here. Here's the lines that we drew before. Here's our the extreme. Here's our 25% line, 61.8. There's the 50. There's the 38.2. There's the 23.6. And then we're back to our blue line again. These are what we were doing all along. The only thing we've really changed is rather than just finding the pivot high and then finding the pivot low, what I'm doing is I'm just using these predetermined, these algorithmic price points that a lot of the institutions use. I'm using that for my reference. And then we have some areas. You can see, like when I get the extreme from the Fibonacci tool, this is my overshoot area. This is basically the upper 25%. And you can see how it still respects that. Respect the line, bounced, came back down, passed this, came back, checked it, and now it's starting to trend. But we had a nice little trend coming down. At the end of this move is forming a little wedge. Now it's going to do one of two things. Either it's going to break out of the top of the wedge and come back up and retest this area, which would be this line here, this zone. Up in here. This is our upper 25% like we were drawing last week. This is the upper 25% of the zone. Here's the lower 25% of the zone. And what I can do is I can do this all on the MT4 platform, just draw the same thing on the MT4, and you can maybe that would be less confusing. I don't know.
It's a great picture, just showing consolidation. That's all it is. It's showing you, if you looked on a 1 hour or a 4 hour chart, you would see what we call a basing happening. And we talk about drop base drops or rally base rallies. This is just forming a rally of some sort, or basing before a rally of some sort. It's either going to drop down and continue the overall movement down, or it may be a reversal. That's all it's giving a picture of it's really basically a intermediate trend inside of momentum. That's all it is.
Yeah, what we're really looking at is that we determine what the sideways trend is. And right now it's trending between this blue zone and this blue zone. And you can see that right now the price is pretty much stuck in between here. And what it does is inside these sideways ranges on, well, we did it on, we started this on a 15-minute chart. But you can see that on a 15-minute chart, if you look at the 15-minute chart, you can see it looks like it's just kind of doing nothing. It dropped and now it's just sitting here. Well, as we expand it out to see what it looks like on the lower time frames, you see it's starting to just go sideways. But inside the sideways, it's inside this little wedge area. It's making a high, it's making a low, and making a lower high, it's making a higher low, and it's right now sitting inside this. But once it breaks out of this wedge, it's going to be making another move. And right now it's just in the consolidation range. And we don't want to be taking the trade in here because we don't know what direction it's going to go. We're anticipating that with the Canadian dollar being stronger than the British pound, Canadian dollar is the stronger of the two, that if it's stronger, the British pound's weaker, which means we're expecting it to go down. Once it breaks out of this wedge, once we get a close below out of this wedge, here's an institutional line right here, this little red line. Once I get a close below that, then we can take it down for 7 pips down to the green line, and maybe even down to the blue line, which is going to be right down here. All this is doing this, rather than having to draw these lines, it's already part of the program. And right now I'm just putting lines on those red lines just for emphasis purposes so that you can see these lines a little bit better. Like here's the 2 minute, here's the red 2 minute. So where does it go? Come on. What's going on here?
I just let everybody know in the chat box that this is just a secondary tool of understanding inside of your toolbox. On this session, we don't normally trade wedges necessarily. We see them. So when we see them, we want to draw them so you guys can see when we say, hey, there's a wedge pattern, you'll be able to see what we're talking about. We aren't necessarily trading from them, but they do give some value to price points and price action. So these happen all the time. As a matter of fact, I'm right now monitoring the Kiwi US. Last night I did a session and a wedge pattern formed, even though I was still using our basic Hercules Atlas tools. I saw it happen. I drew it for the session that I had, and it worked out exactly like we thought it would. It was just another confirmation type of price action. You're trading. Remember, you're not just trading a chart. You're trading human nature, and sometimes self-fulfilling prophecies are key.
You can see, like when you draw this, here's an anchor, here's a little hit, here's our third hit, came back down, came up. Now you see how it's respecting this 5-minute Fibonacci. Now I didn't draw this. This was all part of our program algorithm that we use. You see how it's respected it here, it bounced out, respected it, bounced, respected it. Now it's going to come up. Now it's starting to break through the top. But now the question is it going to respect this trend line? This is nothing more than a trend line.
Yeah, it's all an upper trend line. What it's going to do is also now you've got several things in your play. You've got algorithms that recognize wedge patterns, people who recognize wedge patterns. You have a moving average that algorithms recognize, all coming in the same spot. That's all it's doing. It's just giving you confirmation of where you are in the playground.
And you can see how right now, if you look at our Hercules, we can see how the British pound just took control over the Canadian dollar. So right now we have a little bit of a push up. But look what's going to happen is right now it's pushing up into this upper 25% of the strong down move. So right now we have no real clear direction. This one says the British pound strong. This one says the Canadian dollar strong but weakening. This one says the Canadian dollar strong but weakening. What we don't know is how much it's going to weak, which means how much higher is this thing going to go. So right now I'm staying out of this trade because we don't have any real clear direction. It's coming up into this upper 25%. It's still in a downtrend. But what I'm looking for right now is for it to come up in this area and then all these flip back over to where the Canadian dollar is strong again. That gives us a much better entry. And then we start looking for the target down around to retest the low part down here. But you see how on this 5-minute chart, this is the multi-time frame analysis. You can see how it just came up, it wicked up here, but it couldn't hold it. And we'll see how this closes on the 5-minute.
And if you looked at this on a 1 hour, you would see a drop and a short basing happening. Which chart is this? 5 minutes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah,
7,
let me do that. Let me hide all the tools.
That may be a 1 hour basing. So in essence, this very well could be a strong move in and a basing happening.
See, this is a 1 hour candle. It's just one candle. It went down, it came back up. This is just all 1 hour candle trading inside this little range right in here, between the 73.84 area and the 73.64 area. So it's trading inside this 20 pip range on the 1 hour, but that's all 1 hour candle that this is all happening. If I go back to my,
can you squish that 1 hour up a little bit?
Squish up?
No, to where we can see the top where the formation came from.
Squish it up.
Go to 1 hour and then there you go. Go to your 1 hour though. Squish it some more. We like to squish. Now notice we have a pivot and a major drop. Remember, Forex likes to move back to its average. So it would not surprise me if we move up a bit in a basing formation, which is right now, or stay right here and let the moving averages catch up. Either way, this to me looks like a drop base and a potential move further down.
Yeah.
Or a pivot point, one of the two.
Right. But here you have a strong candle down, had a little wick. The next candle opened up. There's another small little wick. This is what we call a wick over wick area. If we put this wick over wick area, let's see if I can, I'll probably have to, if I draw, I'll get all these others too. Yeah. That little area right in there, that's a little wick over wick on the 1 hour chart. But if you put this on a 5-minute chart, you're going to see that this little zone right here is where that little wick over wick is. And you notice it's going to be right at the 25% of the whole of this move that we use between these prices. Here's our wedge. It's coming up. So basically this area right here is a real strong area to be paying attention to. We're going to call this our retest area. And go to I like putting this thing under a microscope onto the 2-minute chart or the 1-minute chart. But you can see that if it breaks out of this little wedge area, and you see it came right on up to the, well, it's right now it's still respecting this 5-minute zone. But if it comes on up here, it's got all this to go through. And I would expect it to turn around at around this yellowish zone. Let's see if I can pull this up here. Scoot this in a little bit closer. So this is what we're looking for. We're looking for these pullbacks into these. This is kind of like a trap area right in here. But when you look at the 1 hour candle, if you were to draw this on a 1 hour, as if it were a 1 hour chart, here's 7. Let's see, what time is it now? Right now it's almost 8 o'clock. So this 1 hour candle is going to be closing right about in here. It's going to close on that candle. When this 1 hour candle closes, it's going to open up on that yellow line. And if I go back, that's at 8 o'clock, so I go back to 7 o'clock, right there. You see the price action of that 1 hour candle goes all the way from the open of this, which is right here, to the low. What I'm doing is I'm drawing that box that's going to signify what that 1 hour candle is to here. This is all the price action inside that 1 hour candle. And you can see it's actually trending. It's dropped, base, dropped, came back, retested this area. And right now this is the area. So basically this candle made a open up here, pretty much right at where this blue box is. It made a low, came back in. Now wherever this thing closes, that's going to be where the wicks would be. You can see it's starting to come down. It tested this thing's going to go down. You can see how it respected this little zone. It came and gave us a little bit of head fake, respect to the wedge. Now let's look and see, this candle is about to close. When this 1 hour candle closes, if it can close below this red line, it's probably going to pull up a little bit to retest the wedge and then come down for a lower target. Right now we have everything starting to get strong again. The Canadian dollar is strong. The pullback is pretty much done. We'll see how this thing closes on this 1 hour candle here.
Hey, Al, can I share my screen to bring clarification a little bit? We got a couple of questions regarding.
Okay, I'll stop sharing.
Share the same. I'm going to share the same identical screen. Let me make sure that that's what y'all are seeing. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the same thing. Basically, this is a 5-minute chart on the CAD. We could go back to 15. So one of the questions is, what do we need this 25% for? Remember that 25% is only establishing our playground. And a lot of that playground is already established by our Atlas tool. So very, very clean. I don't necessarily need moving averages. I do it because Al has them. I could take mine completely off and it would not make a difference one way or the other for me. So if you're being overwhelmed with visuals, take things off. Al likes to put visuals on there so those who are visual learners can see what he's thinking. But in this case, what's the purpose of the 25? So when this tool was originally established, basically what it would do is divide price into 3 different sections, the thirds. So normally what we would do in the early beginnings of this strategy would do this. Basically what happened for me is this took too long. I wanted to be in the trades. So what I did is I changed it up a bit. And instead of just using that, because what we do is we have to analyze, in this case, we're analyzing momentum through our Hercules tool, but we also have to know where price is at. It's called curve analysis, multi-time frame curve analysis. Well, in my swing trading strategy, what happened is I found that if I would come in here with my thirds, here's one of my thirds, blue to red, and I would just draw a retracement. And this is where your 25% comes into play. This is all it is he's saying to himself and to our traders, if you are looking to be short, be aware of this area right here. Don't do it. Don't go short inside of here. This is where we would expect a long to be taken. And in curve analysis, where is price at? He would say, if you're looking to be short, these are just the extremes. That's all they are. A great conservative place to be short would be in this area. Doesn't mean that's where you got to be short. Our meat of our trade is normally going to happen in the middle based on our momentum. So where would we go? My first entry would have been right here. I will go ahead and put, just for fun, I'll put a market order in here. I'm not looking at position size, but I'm just quickly showing you what it looks like. So now that my trade's in, I don't particularly love my stop. I'm going to leave it there, but I can also look at my curve to determine, do I have enough room in that 25%? So the Fibonacci is actually giving you 24% ish. So we just rounded it up to 25. It's just giving us an overall picture as we get closer to, the bottom of our extremes. That's all that is. So I want to, do I want to ride it? Maybe I move my stop. Maybe when I get here, I want to ride this down all the way down to my red. Maybe I want to go all the way down here, but I have to have a plan in place during trading, not while I'm in the trade, but what am I going to do before I ever enter the trade in trade management? When he gives us the 25%, he's just saying, be aware of the outskirts. If you are a more conservative trader, wait to enter up here as a short. If you're more you want to go counter trend, wait to enter down here because your odds will be more in your favor. It is not necessarily a 25%. This is a no-go area. That's not what he's saying. He's just saying be aware of those extreme areas, whether it be for your target or whether it be for your entry. Those are going to play, because the reason they're going to play is historically, when you look back, you're going to see when we draw this line out, even though I took my supply and demand tool off of here for right now, just so it'd be a clean screen. So let me go ahead and put, we call it Sherlock, by the way, but let me go ahead and put it back on and see what other confirmation it gives to us. And then I think that'll bring a little bit more clarity to what he was doing when he's drawing his 25%. Make sure this is strong, and it is. I'm betting I'm going to have supply up here, not so much demand down here, just by the way it's structured. Yeah. So this is on a 15-minute. We just like he's showing us, he's going to go down to the 5. I like it a little bit better on the 5 than I did my stop. And now we look and see what supply we have. Now, again, like we talked about yesterday, we have nothing until we get way down here. But that doesn't mean there's not any sort of price action. That just means we don't have any strong moves away. So key point will be 73.30 and 72.70. Those are going to be key, but I can prove to you, historically thinking, if I put a green line right here with about where, now remember, we're not trying to be exact, we're just trying to be close within a pip or two. And if we go back historically and look, let me jump up to a higher time frame so it can show you more, that there's something going to be happening. And look where we put our green line, right there where the demand zone is for the 1 hour. So that's why being aware of that 25% is giving you a higher time frame analysis piece. That's the extreme for that particular time frame. Hopefully that helps a little bit, Al.
Yeah, thank you. In fact, Brian, why don't you move your Fibonacci to the next zone and show them? You show them what happened at the zone above before it got down to the.
Sure. We don't move this until it clears and closes on the 15. But technically what you could do now is where the bottom is normally a buy. Technically, now that we've closed below it, the strategy states that it looks like this now. So we very well could expect a pop up here, and we could short it as well right here if you're even more conservative than this, which is okay. There's nothing wrong with being conservative. But again, look where price action stopped, 76. That's your extreme. That would have been, if the tools were telling you to be short, right here would have been a great entry. And that would have happened prior to Sherlock coming into play. You would have jumped the gun to recognize that price was key. Sherlock says when it happened, he says, oh, that was a good price. You could have got in here on the second try. So if you missed it the first one, you get it the second one, and you could have moved down. But there's other opportunities to get in. This actually went up to the 61, this green candle right here. And then the 50 is always a strong point.
And then after you had then once you're in that trade, the Sherlock actually drew that box, which confirmed that you're in the right direction.
Right. And that gives you another wall or border. Doesn't mean it's going to hold necessarily, but it does give you a wall or border. And the key is if you notice just through this price action, we've had the 50 touched and fallen away. It came back up into the 50, fell back away. Then it fell through the 50 all the way down to the 23. Back up to the 32, 38, past the 23, back up to the 38, and then finally got down to our blue line. Base, like we've been talking about, couldn't close below. Now it broke it, and I don't think that one retested. That may have got real close to it, retested that one. So this one retested and fell away, and we've been moving away since. And then once we have a close like this, we move our tool down. And now we play with a different playground. Now for trading, obviously this is key for where our target is, but maybe we want to be a little bit more conservative with our trading. Maybe this is the most conservative. This is going to be, especially if you're not scalping, you're really going kind of a couple of hour type trade. This would be a conservative entry for that. As you can tell, I'm more aggressive, jump in, go, and get it done. That's me. But not everybody's that way. They're not. I've been doing this for years. So
you see how it's respecting that 73.56 line right now. It bounced right down. It's just, and you start seeing it bouncing and bouncing right where the price is right now.
And let's go to the 5 so we can see it closer. It's just a perspective. That's all this is.
Right now, where we got in, I'm already out of that trade right now.
I got in a little late. Got in a little late, but I would expect, again, this little wick right here is really not even a pip away. I mean, it's not even, it's 1 pip, not even. So now it's just a point of spread. So we're sitting on 4. So I'm going to have to get down in here to get out of the trade, or I can close it out if I want to, but I'm going to let it ride because this is a demo account and you guys can see how prices, teetered around this 50 area. It wouldn't surprise me if it comes right back up there again. It wouldn't surprise me if it comes up to the 61. That's the key, is you don't want to be surprised at certain things that are happening. It should shock you. Now, where I would definitely want to be out is where I'm out. I would hate to see it get up here at this point, but it's only 15 pips. So if the picture changes and it starts moving away and we look at Hercules and that changes, then I can always lower my stop and get out a little bit earlier. I'm playing a couple of intraday trades right now with Kiwi US. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Quick on the Kiwi US. This is not scalping, by the way. But I was telling the group, guys, this is from last night. These are the wedge things. So I was in it short, and this was actually a wedge that I drew on the 15. I wasn't monitoring it on the 5. But once it appeared to break, I got in and then it fell away. I took profit on a wedge. Did the same thing this morning. Right now, I'm profitable 1 position. It came up to the top of the wedge. That's been going on since about, that's 15-minute chart right now. I got in a couple times, so right before the session started, inside the wedge, which I never do. But it's what it's doing for me. The wedge is not something I'm using to trade, but it keeps me in the trade and understanding price action. I expected it to come up here and hit this and fall away. The picture would change if it didn't. And so I put my last entry right here. And you can see I've got it. That's the profitable one. Now that's falling away. If this will fall in a little bit way, I can close this because this is my largest position and I won't have a loss. I may have some loss in trades, but overall I'll make money. Okay. But I would love to see this get all the way down to here. And if it does, I'm going to get out, because the overall trend seems to be up, but I'm going to get out and take that profit because this one's my largest position. It'll wipe out the losses of the other 2. But see how the wedges just come into play? They're everywhere, but they're only guides for me. I don't use them to do anything. So there you go, Al.
Brian, take a look
Hopefully,
at the British, take a look at the British USD while you're there.
I can do that. 15-minute start. P, I hope that helped out a little bit of clarification. Ooh, I haven't looked at this. Wow. Okay.
Right now, the dollar just got strong all of a sudden against the British pound.
I love the X's too. Thanks for the X's. XOXO.
Yeah, one thing we're really careful about, we don't want to be going too fast or confuse anybody. So if you are confused, and I appreciate that,
let us know.
Let us know so we can, because if you're confused, then other people are probably confused too. And then if I'm confusing people by what I'm doing, I need to make some changes. So our goal is to make it as user-friendly and as understandable as we can. So in a way, we know that we get the feedback from you guys. And so I appreciate that. We don't take offense to it, because if you're confused, that's not what we want to have happen.
That's not on you. That's on us.
Yeah.
And we're family here, so never feel intimidated to ask questions. You may think they're dumb. No, they're not. They're not dumb. We got dumb answers. There's never a dumb question. So again, we're just establishing our playground. This is one that tempts me very, very much in the respect that if I'm above here, what's my spread? One. If I can get a move up here,
1.7 spread.
if I can get right here, I would have no problem going short. But that's my aggressiveness. I can't go short inside of here. That's my rule. But if it just moves up a little bit, I can. But I don't know if it will. But notice how it's where the zone, the price action happened. It touched the blue line. You hope you guys can see that. Let me blow that up a little bit. So you wonder why Atlas is so powerful. Look at it. And it's usually, I mean, even if it's a pip off, that's insanity that it was that pinpoint. And then that's the origination of this whole entire move down. And now we came back and retested the 61, couldn't close above it twice. And we moved down. Where are we struggling at right now? The 23. So if I was a betting man and more conservative than I am, I would first and foremost put an entry here. And I'm going to do something I don't normally do. What time frame we're on? 15. I'm going to put an entry there. That would be, if I'm aggressive, that's not ultra aggressive. That's a little bit aggressive. Then I'm going to do one right here. And then my last one would be right about here for scalping. And then I like to, and those circles are not magic. They're just drawn. There's no size. I'm just giving my eyes zones to look at right here. There's a good one right there. And then I clean it up. So knowing this, my most conservative would be right here. I take this one. Should Hercules still be in my favor and it's conservative, this is going to be your best, easiest bet to get. I should have taken it. That's all right. I missed it. And I would still say this one would probably move up just a tad. And this one would still be right here where I'm at. And that's what I would do. I'd just wait for it to come to those areas and play it. My gut's saying get in it right now, but I haven't seen Hercules. So let's take a quick look at Hercules real quick. Pounds week.
British Swiss you're talking about?
This is pound US.
No, I'm looking at British. You're on the Hercules. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I was just quickly looking at Hercules.
Pound US, because right now I'm seeing that as it's hitting the bottom 25%, which is what I look at, and it's just stalled there right now. I think it's probably a good chance it's going to hold.
I don't think it will. I think it'll break down. I think it'll break down just a bit further before it bounces up. It may come up here, but I think it's going to break down further.
If it does come up, if it does, right now it's showing that the dollar is strong. And if the dollar is strong, that means it's strength to the downside. So if it pulls back, if we have this little pullback, and if it pulls back into like that 38.2, then we would be looking at, and that's the price I'm looking at right now would be, if it comes up to 38.12, 136.12.
36, which is about where 36.15 is at. That's where I'm.
Yeah, right.
Your moving averages right there. Yep.
If it can come up there and can't hold it, then we're looking to coming down to the 135.98 area.
And just remember, at the 36.15, you're getting out before the 36.06 if you have a 7-pip stop or target. I think it's going to break down.
Yeah, I think so too. When you have the pullback and all the strength meters and Hercules is still saying that the dollar is still strong on the pullback, then that's just a pullback. Then you'd be looking at I'm looking at the close around the 36.05 and then heading on down to the 36.98 area. That would be my 7 pips.
And notice I was going to get in here if I would have got in at 36.08. I just have to be out at 36.01. That's all right here. I'm not digging. The closer I get to this red line, the harder it's going to get until it breaks it. We'll get all this noise stuff that happens. Yeah, this one's going.
Yeah,
now, if you got in this and this closes here in a minute, and you see this wick over wick, if you went on a 1-minute chart, you'll probably see an area up. Just looks like this. We'll find out when it closes. That wick may have cost us there. That little wick at the bottom may have taken it out of the basing potential of a supply zone. We'll find out when it populated. Yeah, it took us out because of the wicks. But look on the 1 minute where it's being rejected at. Right where we said, don't get in. Wait for it to come back or give you a better clarity. better clarity on that. I'm missing Christine this morning.
Yeah, she's.
We guys need some female talkers.
So we keep straight.
Exactly.
Eve is always keeping us straight. I say she's always challenging what I say.
That's a good thing. What time do we go to, Al?
9 o'clock.
That'd be 8 o'clock. We got 45 minutes still.
Yeah, we still have some time.
Okay. So, any questions, guys?
I think I determined something, Brian. I think for clarity, I think once I draw the zones, I'm going to just pull the lower time frame Fibonacci Atlas lines and just use that for reference. I think it'd be less confusing.
To look like mine, or
to look it would, rather than having the Fibonacci's on there, just have, because you don't have the Atlas on your
I got it right here. I don't go down to the 5. I don't go to the 5-minute Atlas. I use a 15-minute Atlas, and then I pull my retracements across the board.
Okay.
Because I know that these are within a pip or two of the Atlas.
Yeah, I can't draw my Fibonacci like you have yours, where I have all the. I can't get them to line up like that, which is part of the problem that I have. I get the lines start looking too confusing, I think.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Thanks for coming. Hey guys, while we're having a little break in the action here, when this is breaking down, we're watching this. If you would do us a favor, and if you have time, we would love to hear what your aha moments have been with Hawkeye. Something good you've learned, something made it better. And I put the email address inside of our chat box. That would be a huge help. That would help us as we're kind of finding out what you guys are learning, some highlights, type of things. We're going to use them for testimonials and stuff. That would be a huge help to us, I guess.
Let's see. Do we have anything with the?
I'm looking at a chat, making sure we haven't missed. Okay. Yeah, and you know what? You're learning a different language, and 6 months is not a long time, Daniela, to be trading. We've been doing it for years. Fibs are key. Yeah, put it in a testimonial statement for us and email that to me. A lot of people are learning the power of the fib, and this is something we stumbled on a little while back. But if you're new to trading, understand you're learning a different language, extremely different language. So be patient with yourself. Because it's not fair. Because when my daughter took Spanish, she's taken it probably 4 or 5 years, and she speaks none of it still. It just doesn't resonate with her. So you just have to be patient with yourself and understand that you're not going to get it all in one session. And we're going to be here every day. And our goal here with Hawkeye is to be a community that supports each other. And as you guys grow, hopefully, we're training you to help others in the room. That's the key.
One thing I'd really like to do is have some of you get so comfortable that we can turn you into some of our trainers and teachers and educators. I will say, because one thing about, I'm finding out that the more I teach, the better trader I am, because it has more accountability. That way, because if I'm showing charts and I'm taking trades, I've got everybody watching me. I can't be saying, oh, let me see how this is going to work out, and say, oh, it didn't work out. Well, I guess I just won't tell anybody.
Right.
The world knows it.
And Danielle said the key to trading is actually just showing up. It really is. I mean, we've analyzed Hawkeye over the last few weeks, and we've come up with a couple of phrases that kind of really identify who we are. There's no hype. We're not going to hype you up. We're not going to be in here to do a circus. There's no circus going on, although you've got a couple of clowns. We're not here to hype you up. We're not here to sell you anything. We're just here to help you, share with you, make sure that this is your room to ask questions. It's your room to learn, and it's your room to grow. If we do that part, you will make money. Obviously, we can't make guarantees of that. There's that supply zone that I was talking about. We were waiting for. Drop, one candle base. This in a lower time frame most likely be a wedge pattern and a fall away, and profit was taken. So very nice.
US is working out just fine. That's the second trade for the day for us.
It's all good. Let me go ahead and see how my pound yen This was another intraday trade for me, scaling in. Oh my, very nicely done. See, I scaled in multiple places and I had to take the heat. Okay. So this is not something you want to do yet. Daniela, especially, this is not something you want to do at 6 months. Notice I scaled in here, 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 took the heat. It came into my Sherlock tool, which is exactly what the purpose of this thing is. My stop's far enough away, the spread wouldn't get me. And now price has moved away to my target. And now your guys are getting ready to see a huge trade. I did this as my live account as well, by the way. This is going to be a huge trade for me today because I scaled in. So for instance, in this demo, I took 20 here, 40 here, and 80 here. So what does that look like? Since I'm going to go ahead and go over
You took
here.
a little heat on it.
I'm going to go over here. This is going to be a nice, this is demo. I'm going to go ahead and close my smallest one out. This is what I would do. Get rid of it just in case it goes away. And then I'm going to take the second one out.
If any of you are in the UK, you can use FXCM. That's a broker that that's available to you to use. And if that's the case, then you could use this FXCM platform, and we could.
I love this one.
As we make these tools available, we can try and get it so you can get those as available as well.
And I'm going to go ahead and take. We found that with the scalping, 21 pips seems to be the distance you can get. So looking at today, for today's trades, I think this is majority of today's trades in demo. I didn't take all of these in my live. I just took the pound US and the Kiwi US. This is today. This is just today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 trades, 9 wins, 1 loss. Now, notice these are not all individual trades. These are scaling in. This is one way I scale in. I'll do a small and then double based on position sizing, my maximum. So I limit it. So my little ones at the beginning aren't going to make a lot of money. It's the back end ones that I like. Same thing with this one. This one didn't make a lot, but the back end did because I doubled it. So, oh, I got 2 losses there. 1, 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 80%. Pretty good. And we're still in a trade.
And you're not going to win them all.
You're not going to win them all. Not going to win them all. And this one we can go look at and see what I want to do with now because I already closed out part of the position. And that's how now you can see the nice how we scale in. That's a good picture of how it scales in. And I had to be able to take the heat. Now, look where it's coming down to again. It's coming down to this beast of our 25%. Get out of there before then because you don't really know. But look where it couldn't close above. And I was betting on this. This is the key. This was the key of the trade. I was betting getting in and being able to close below. And I happened to be right this time. Not all the time, but I looked back in history, mainly off the 15, and looked at where the green line, the Atlas back here is where I saw. And I thought, okay, it's going to come back. It's already tested. If it'll either hold and throw it down, or it's going to blast through because there's nothing to stop it. And so I bet on the right side. I bet with Hercules. I used the Atlas and Sherlock to all put my stops in. And I put my stops 2 pips, 3 pips above the zone that it identified. That one happened to work out. Not all of them do. But you don't have to be you don't have to be right 80% of the time to make money. You don't. If you have a good trade plan and a good position sizing, you actually can get away with 40 to 50% wins and still be profitable. And we've had traders come in and say, tell us that we're trading wrong. You're not doing it right. And yet they can't put months together where they've been profitable, but they got something stuck in their head. A little bit different. So the same picture with this one, pretty much. This one, we took profit down here. It's come. I don't like this sitting in this demand zone because it's still there. And look what's happening with our moving averages. We're just still respecting this wedge. Had I not drawn this wedge, I should have been able to see pretty much a flat top at this point. And really because it's moved away at this point, no problem. Thank you so much. Thanks for being here. Now it would be kind of like this. And I probably would even do this for me because now it's a real hard line for me. That's kind of what it would look like. Flat top. More hits there. Something's going on right here, and that would be the 69.15, probably more than 69.16. But Al, do you want to do some time? We haven't talked anything about the what's happening with the indices or anything like that this morning.
Yeah, I was actually
And
looking to see if there's anything on the like the Deutsches 30 and
that is not my gift.
let me see if you're
Let me stop sharing for you so you can share.
okay, let me go and see. We'll take a look at the Deutsches
Even
30.
if there's nothing there, we can see it.
Yeah,
Because I need to understand it.
Let's see. Let's go with this one right here. Yeah, here's the Deutsches 30, and I've got this thing. It's a DAX 30. I've got it on start with the 15-minute chart, which is pretty much our starting point. And we have our fib lines. So I'm going to draw from here's the blue to here's the zone right in here. Now with these, it's a little the price to let's see. It's right now we have now these are pretty much in dollar ranges because of the and I'm assuming this pretty much in euros. So basically that's a $128 move between the blue line and the red line. So that's a pretty good size zone that we have. But you can also see that when we look at our intermediate zones, which is like the orange to the white, those are going to, let's see what, those are probably going to be at least 10. Yeah, those are $16 moves, $16 moves. With the indexes, like I said, we're usually looking for a 5-minute target, 10-minute stop on the, or $5 target, $10 stop on this. But we still need to get the direction going in the right direction. So right now, everything's still kind of consolidating. So there's really no real clear direction. If I look down here at our Hercules tool, I'm just looking at just the US, the Euro, and the British pound collectively. And so you can see like the US is 7. So that's the US is the strongest of these three major currencies. The DAX, usually we look at the euro, and you see that's kind of showing pretty weak. So if the euro is showing a weakness with a level 2, as opposed 7 is the highest, 0 is the lowest. So it's showing a 2. So with the DAX being basically tied to the euro, when the euro is strong, i.e. if it were up to a 7, then we'd be looking at it to go short. The fact it's kind of weak, I'm looking at more to go long. But right now it's in the consolidation. We had a nice strong move down. And you can see where it sort of like hit this bottom right here, which is right at this fib line. It came right to the pip and bounced off again. So right now, no clear direction, but this is the upper 25% that we talked about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Oops, I gotta lock this in here, lock this in place. Here's our upper 25%. I'm just gonna draw this for reference. And we're gonna put the lower 25 one down. I say again, this is just for reference so that we can see where we want to be buyers and where we want to be sellers. And you can see right when it came down here, now it couldn't break it, came back out. It has strong move up. This is like a rocket ship coming out, small little pullback. And between this zone and here, we probably have our 10, there's 15, almost 15,200. And right now, this is a 15,001. So we have about a 34 pip dollar range on this. I'm going to go to my 2-minute chart, my 1-minute chart, and see where my zones are and see what it looks like. Let's see where my tool go here. It's not on here. Why is it not on there? And let's see, where is my, I just can't see with this zone here. Maybe that's where the problem is. Nope, where'd it go? Huh. Where'd my indicator go?
Which one are you looking for?
I'm looking for the Atlas.
Is that not on there? I'm looking at red. No. Okay, that's my screen that I'm looking at.
All right, let me try this again.
I'm looking at my screen thinking it is yours. That's great.
Let's just do it this way. I'm not seeing my. Okay, I'm sorry, folks. Let me just get this over here. Let me see what. This
Don't try to sit at home. We're professionals.
I'm just gonna put this on 1-minute chart. It just changes to 2-minute zones here. I'll have to investigate that one a little bit further. It was there the other day. Right now, I'm seeing that the on this time frame, the euro is stronger compared to the dollar and the British pound. If the euro is stronger, we're looking at this thing to go on to the downside on this one. our moving average, again, our moving average is still consolidating. You can see how we had a nice little pop up right to the 25%, pulled back. It's really forming a wedge right in this area from here to here to here to there. So right now it's inside this, and you see it's starting to break out of the bottom. This thing looks like it wants to go short. But
when you get done with your analysis here, take a quick look back at your pound US on the 15-minute chart.
Pound US. This thing's
Again,
starting to break down.
Providing a little bit of value for understanding the power of Atlas.
Here's our green zone. Here's our red zone. It looks like we may have missed. See how it broke it? See how this thing broke out, hit the
takes off,
and just takes off. Now we kind of missed this one here, but here's where when this candle here came down, hit the green. Now it's hit the green. Now it's looking to head for the blue. I don't know that we have enough room.
It actually bounced from your green first.
We do have a little, yeah. It broke the red. Came to, and this was all one minute candle.
Man, oh man!
Look at that. Something's happening here. So I'm not going to chase this trade, but you can see how when it breaks out of the wedge, you kind of have to be right there on this one.
Yeah, and if you don't get wedges, just stay in the room long enough and listen. At some point, you're going to go, "Oh, there it is. Oh, there it is," and you will catch it if it's not your strength. We literally have a trader who was with us with wedge trading, and from that point on, they got sick of it because everywhere they go, they started seeing them, and it drove them nuts, which is great. You need to see them because they are there.
It's probably going to bounce off these 5-minute ones. These are the 5-minute zones right here. Here's a 5-minute. Now these are, let's see, what's the range on these? These are basically $15 ranges right now. So if it breaks, I would expect it's going to bounce off this blue one and come back and retest this. But you can see how these kind of line up with the Fibonacci lines. Here's our 25. There's our 23.6. Here's our 0. So this is the bottom 25%, top 25%. You can see right now it's in between all these in the orange zones, the 61.8, the 50, the 38.2. And right now it's inside this range right in here. So this is a no-go right now because we've missed the opportunity on this. But this is where you can see where it's probably going to come. Looks like it's going to come down, retest the blue. It's testing it right now as we speak. It's bouncing right off of that price point. The blue, 5-minute blue right there. This would have been a nice move had we been able to catch that one. It didn't give us much notice on this one. And that's how these indexes move. They just kind of go. Either you're on it, you're in it, or you're not in it. And that's why what Eva likes to do is she likes to find those bases. She just puts a little sell order in right there with a $2 stop, or in this case, it'd be $5. She would have a sell order in, and she enters. This one candle got her in and out within about 30 seconds.
And and the cool thing about it, she doesn't enter to it. It's already going that momentum direction.
Yeah.
So she's sitting an order out there. It's not completely set and forget, but I do a lot of similar set and forget type stuff. Hers is pretty close to set and forget. She finds her entry point and kind of monitors it from there. And if the price happens to go,
she would have found this little pivot point right here. Or she may have used this one. I think she may have probably used this because there's a little bit more room on this. If you look at this wick over here, if you come over here, you see the wall come back down. This is where once it breaks through this little wick here, this is the next target. You can see right now where this candle opened, came up closed, pulled back to this wick, went up higher. So this is a rally, a base pulled back here. But from this little base, once it breaks this area right here, it heads out to the end of the body. So this is the zone where we're looking at for.
And if you look to the left even of that little wick over wick, you can see where it was once resistance became support.
So once this broke, it came back down, and you see how, look where this candle closed, reference to where this one opened up, and now it's still going down some more. But now Eva probably would have gotten, she would probably have put an entry in right about in this area right here. And her target would have been $5.
$5.
15, so it'd be 55. So at 55, which is $55 would have been right about there, right about there-ish. And she would have gotten in, out, all within this one. Look, put us in a 1 minute candle right here. You can see it where it got her in and hit her target all within about 30 seconds. And that's how she trades the indexes. How are we doing time? I still have a little time left.
Yeah,
here.
check out your pound US when you get a chance. I love how this, because this has nothing to do with us. See where the candle pivot at the bottom was? Right, that is exactly at the red fib line 3591 from Atlas. That's at bottom of that 25% that we were talking about earlier. Now it's starting to chew up that whole entire 25. And that very well not mean that we might be moving our retracement tool down to the next third, which is normal. Because usually price goes from blue to blue. And if it happens to clear.
Chart, and I'll draw the, oh, I got it right here. Let me just slide this thing over here to, there's our zone right there.
And remember, it's right now hitting support. We call it support. You'll hear us call it demand. That support line. If it breaks it, especially if it has some conviction when it breaks it, that then becomes resistance. And you can use that as an aggressive entry point as well. So if it can close below the 3591 with some conviction, then that 3591 becomes the aggressive entry for a short. If all the other factors that you're using for your strategy come into play and they fit.
So then what we would do is we just move this all down right to here.
Mm-hmm.
And then these are our next target zones.
Yeah, and you're naturally in the upper part of your curve, your upper 25% for a short. You're naturally already there. So you can take a short within that.
But I just see a break and close below here, come back
with
to
conviction.
Test,
right.
With conviction. And then you can take it, and then you're looking at I would be looking at breaking these things down into thirds. Again,
right.
This is 21 pips between here and here. There's 21 pips. There's our 21 pip zone. And then when I go down to my 1 minute chart, I'll just move it to a 1 minute chart here. And I put this onto a 1 minute. You can just do it this way as well. A 2 minute, this is 2 minute zones. Now you see, here's my thirds. Here's my red, green, blue. This is my 7 pip. If it breaks here, got 7 pips here, 7 pips here. There's your 21 pip range.
That's what I was saying. That's what we're talking
right
about.
Into your orange line.
And we talk about that 21 pip. I usually don't go further than 21 pip when scalping. That's the reason.
This would be the target zone. If you want to build zones, and so then that would be the target right there. That'd be the one target. But I want to see a break with conviction, come back down, and then once it gets nice move down, because usually when you get the strong extended range candles, you can see that this candle, like right here on this, even on this 1 minute chart, this one, usually when you get those big impulse moves, there's 9 pips. So that's about almost, there's 9 pips, which is basically one of these plus the spread.
The cool thing about the pound US is on a normal 15-minute candle, it moves approximately 15 in the range. That doesn't mean it's going to go from top to bottom 15, but it's going to have about 15 pips of movement. So it's a little bit more active than some of the other ones where we've seen 5, 6, 7. This is a little bit more active. And that 50% line at 36.23 that we were talking about earlier, 36.23, call it 36.25 if you want. That did create a Sherlock supply zone.
Right here. So
after it left, yeah.
36.26.
36.23, 25, somewhere in there.
What's the top and bottom of it? Let me just draw it.
36.23 to 36.33.
36.
23 to 33. That would be
36,
no longer.
33.
Now that we're coming on the bottom, I'm thinking that would be your conservative entry, because if we get past that, you've kind of bounced into a different potential momentum trend.
1.3633 and
1.3623 and 3.633.
23.
2.3 and 3.3.
Right?
10 pip area.
Right there.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see here's my blue fib line. This is our program lines. Blue, red, and then halfway to between the green. That's the zone.
And that zone is a 15-minute zone, so you definitely want to respect it.
You just see it. I said, if you stick with us long enough, you'll start getting to see how these patterns repeat themselves over and over and over again.
Hopefully we're not boring enough to where you leave and you can enjoy the family part of it. But really the trading part becomes very, very simplistic and mechanical. So now we're at the bottom of our 35.91.
You get the strength for direction, you get the fib lines, and you get the zones, and you just go for the next one. This looks like this thing could come. It looks like this thing is going to want to break down into here.
It does. It does look like it wants to. What time we got? We've got 4 more minutes before the 15-minute candle. That's my strategy. My strategy is that I can't move my fib retracement until I get a 15-minute close below those Atlas lines.
And this will tell us how much time we have. We have 2 minutes and 47 seconds before. When we get the 15-minute close, we're going to get the 5-minute close. We're going to get the 1-minute close. All three are going to close at the same time, and that gets to be a pretty powerful indication. Now, once you get a 15-minute close, a lot of times you'll see a lot of times you'll get it. It'll close. It'll come down, wick up, close, and it'll go up a little bit higher, and then it drops again.
Yeah, you got the basing time.
So usually when you get the 15-minute candle close, a lot of times you have a little bit of time before you actually want to get into the trade based on that. But you want to get the confirmation that it's closing below, because what happens is people are watching it and they say, okay, oh, it closed below, I'm going to jump in. Well, then the big guys come back and start looking for some stops, find some stops, get everybody stopped out. You say, oh, I was in the wrong direction. And go, oh, I was in the right direction, but they took my stop. And that's what happens. And here you can start seeing a little bit of a wedge getting drawn here. Now we are in this lower 25% of this range. So we are in sort of like no man's land, but here's a wedge developing. If I draw this, here's a high. Oh, come on.
Again, if I was a counter trend type trader, the 35.91 would have been where I would have put my entry at, but I'm not into that.
So right now, if it breaks out of the wedge, breaks, closes, well, we're looking at having a little bit of what they call pass and check, where it comes down, comes back up, checks it, and comes back down and goes for your target. And you can see where it may go about halfway to the red line, come back to the blue line, come back past the red line, and then go all the way down to the green line. But we want to wait for it to break through that first. Right now it's retesting. If we're looking at this, here's our wedge. You know, it's still inside the basic wedge. Let me just pull this out of here a little bit so you can just see that a little bit. And we're still in the lower 25%. It's wet is basing. So we had drop, based. Now here's a little bit of a retest area right up here where this yellow line is, which is the line. That's our overshoot area basically. And here's a red line. So right now this percentage and then our red line here. This is another zone to me.
It's funny to me that this is still doing exactly what we predicted it to do.
Coming up and retesting the wedge. It may come up and retest this 25% area, but this could be a trap. See this little drop? Here's some basing right here. Drop, came back, test. This where the C is, it could come up and retest this whole area. But you have this moving average coming down. And when you see a moving average coming into a zone like this, that's a pretty good indication. It may come up there and tag it. and then give us a reversal. But once you tag it, if you take it along in this area or short in this area, you probably could use a fairly tight stop, because if you're wrong, it's going to be real wrong, and you just want to get out. But right now, it's breaking out of this little wedge here. It's still inside the 25%, so it's still not ready to break out yet.
Al, I just got a notification for a wedge alert. I can't find where the information is on that. I bet it's this one. We'll have to we'll look at it later and see if we can kind of utilize that too.
Let's see if I can pull it up here.
So we've got two 15-minute candles that couldn't get past that 35.91. Again, now you can start seeing how the wedge, if you're looking at it on a 15-minute, you can start seeing how a wedge on a lower time frame is just a basing on an upper. Interesting stuff. How it plays out.
I'm trying to find my.
This one, I think this candle potentially has the ability to break it down.
And you can see where right now the dollar is strong. The dollar is the second currency of the pair. Strong by 3 on this 1 minute chart, which means it's pulling back and still staying strong.
On the 1 hour, $6 pound 0. 30 minutes, $6 pound 0. 15 $6 pound 0. On the 5 minute, $6, and the pound is 2. So I think this one's going to be the one that it's letting the moving averages catch up. It's doing its thing, but I think this candle potentially before the market opens may break down. So be careful, because a lot of times when the market opens, you'll see a flip. So be very careful. Sometimes it just takes the momentum and runs with it. So, I mean, it's a crapshoot at that point. And I did put a little note in the chat box for everybody if you guys could help out that way. Explain what we're doing a little bit.
So you see how this thing's flipped over here? The British is now strong. It's still weak on the 15-minute time frame. The dollar is still strong, which means you still want to be looking down. But right now, this is a pullback.
Yeah.
Relatively strong pullback. British is strong, not by a lot, but still showing strength. But now once these flip back over to where the dollar is strong again, then you start looking for the next target down here being.
You have two charts that are 1 minute.
Oh, do I? Oh,
that's why yours looks all jacked up on your Hercules.
I switched it over one. There we go.
And you'll see that the pound's not quite as strong on the 5. Still pull back, but it makes no difference. It's still a pullback. Hesitation.
Let's see, put these back on a 5 here. Put it back where it belongs. And so here's my red line right here. That's the target. This would be a target zone.
What's that price?
Right
35.71?
35.70.
Okay.
Yep.
Is that your wife making all that racket?
Yeah, I wish. Yeah.
Don't tell her I said that.
She is, because she's not being right there. Is what. So.
Don't tell her I said that. She will find me.
I had a very intense game of Go Fish last night.
Yeah, high intellect games. Yeah, this is the candle I thought would break it down. We'll see what happens. We're getting close to that breakdown point.
Yeah, here the dollar's flipped over. It's getting stronger. Now we had that little wedge. See how it just bounced right off of that wedge?
This is the pair to be short. It's 7-0 across the board.
Yep. So when this thing breaks, we're going to be looking at here. This would be my target 1. This would be target 2.
I should have got in right up here, but that's okay.
My target here. This one's going to be target 1.
And what's crazy about this, Al, is the fact that we got a 7-0 and it still can't break that area yet.
Yeah, that's
That tells you
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah. Either it's going to break really hard or it's
Hard, or it's going to bounce.
Yeah.
And remember, once was support becomes a place of a possible. Yeah, we can flip the other end and become a top where you can go short on it because it becomes resistance.
See, these are the things you have to look at to be careful of when you have these wedges, is that you get these little head fakes up here where it broke out here, actually closed. Now it's back into the wedge. The fact that it broke and closed, now we're on a, put this on, it probably didn't get a 5-minute close, I don't think. No, it did it.
Doesn't look like it did.
This one did.
No, it didn't. Your wedge is outside that one. It went above that red candle second.
Yeah, this one came right up to the wedge and then
dropped.
And right now we did not get a 5-minute close above that wedge area. We did get a close above the green line though.
Yeah, by a pip maybe
by
2
pip. Yeah, maybe the spread, just by a spread. Just enough to take somebody's buy order so they could sell it.
Hey guys, do me a favor, just curiosity while we're sitting here watching this thing. Put in the chat box how long you've been trading. I'm curious to see what our potential is, our age of our group. NAS 100. Do you have anything for that, Al?
NAS 100.
Yep. And I'll look at the pound US as it's telling. I'll give you updates on it, but I think that candle is going to be the one that breaks it down. Eden's is looking at the NAS 100 short. NAS, he's already in.
That's probably this one here.
So
US Tech. I think that's US Tech is what we're looking at.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, get the 15.
Thanks for bringing that to our attention too. That's helpful. 2 years. Okay, we got 2 years. Eden's entry is at 14.25. Use that quarter.
We're right at a blue line here. Let's see. Let me go to this one, USA 100, just so I keep my charts in order here.
Yeah, my friend Rajiv, 3 years or so. That or so is the key there. Sometimes it feels 3 years. Sometimes it feels like the or so. So his entry, Al, is 14,616.25.
I've got, here's a red, here's a green, here's the blue. We're right at the green. We're right at a turning point here. So we're trying to see which way is.
Edens, do you trade this on the, what time frame do you trade this on? Is this a scalping or is it a more of a swing type thing?
Right now, I have to be looking at, this is US Tech. I'm looking at the, compared to the dollar strong. I'd be looking at this thing going short.
That's where he's at. He's short.
I like it when I say something and people say agree with me.
Did you, can you draw in his, like put a line at the, his entry so I can tell where his entry's at?
Where's his entry?
14,616.25.
14,616.
616.25.
Entry to sell.
You could be the youngest one, Daniela, as far as time. 7 months is, you're still a good newbie. 4,616.25. Yeah.
6.25. Oh, jeez. All right, let's try this again.
14,616.
16.25.
Yeah.
Right
and
there.
I'm looking to see what time frame he was
So that's
on.
That's
a good, yeah, that was good entry.
We have moving average. So right now we have, there's our
swing trading.
We're right at this.
So where's your target, Edens?
Yeah.
He's swing trading this. Well, that means he can do.
He could be looking down
we could be doing
this.
one of two things. Yeah, we could be taking a swing could be anywhere from just a maybe a day or up to weeks. So I normally don't swing on a 15-minute chart for me personally.
Yeah, right now
that's more like an intraday chart for me. If I was
if I go into see where my Yeah. Brian's trying to turn me into a swing trader. I just haven't quite bought into it yet.
It's a gift.
So here's here's where our 25. That's where our zone is. Why is this not showing my? I'm going to have to. Let's see here. Let's do this. 15-minute tab. Let's get that so that way I get there, and I'll put this on a 5-minute. I'm gonna have to reach shut by chart. I must have messed something up when I was working with this thing the other night. Here's my zone. Here's my blue zone. So right now, the entry was way up here. Where my something's not right here. Where's my? Yeah, here's the entry.
So his take profit is 14,460. That would be nice to see.
So, well, there it is. There's what I'm looking for right there. 460, 416, 460.
460, yeah.
Ooh, that's way down there.
That's his take profit. Yeah, he's way on down there. So again, remember he's swing, so
yeah,
that doesn't surprise me.
414, 460, which is going to put us right down. Well, just a little bit below our blue line.
Okay, nicely done. Now, can you tell me where your stop's at so we can mark this up?
Let's go right about there for our target.
He seems like he's got his stuff together as far as looking at it.
Here's my target one, which is right here. For that would have been, and then the stop is.
That's what we're waiting for. Tell us where the stop's at.
It was like you. It's about 17,000.
Yeah, I did. I've put my stop way up there. The pound US has broken down below our 35.91 line, but it's still hesitating. Not a whole lot of conviction yet, so I'm not convinced it's going to close below there yet. We got quite a bit of a wick there, so we got 3 minutes to see what happens. But this is fun. This helps me learn a little bit.
This is a blue stop zone right there.
Now, Al, on our calculator, do we have the ability to do this indice? Have we already set that up to do this indice?
I think we do on the calculator.
Yeah. Because I really need to get more involved in this type of stuff.
Okay, so let's see. Here we go. Here's the calculator. $4,000 account-ish, say.
And I got a stop loss number if you want to put that in there so we can kind of calculate what his stop is going to be.
US Tech, and we were looking at 100 pip stops on this one, 2%, 0.08 lot size for a 2% $4,000 account, be risking $80 with a 100 pip stop.
Yeah. His is at 16. Golly, I got to read numbers. 14,686.50. That's where his stop is. 686.50.
14,680.
86.50.
I got mine at 82 right on the blue line. 86.50. Well, he must have known where my lines were.
He's cheating. That or he's learning a lot. One of the two, or he's experienced. One of those three. And that's good.
Yeah.
Edens, have you been trading a long time?
So here's the entry.
That seems like a pretty well planned out little trade for a swing, in my opinion.
Nice above the moving average. I'm on a 1 hour chart right now, well above the moving average. Nice little, and your target one. Oh, this is my target. I'm going to move that because that's not his.
Cool. Ann sending a testimonial for us. Thank you so much, Ann. Appreciate that.
And so here we are.
So now it's just a wait game. Looking at it, as far as the swing analysis, you're going to have a little headache, obviously, at around the 50 to 38 area, in my opinion. Maybe a little bit higher, more of the, I can't read your numbers. At 61 where you had the wick over wick, Al?
60 wick over wick. That's on the 1 hour?
We're looking at the 1 hour. You want to be on that, but look at your 61% on your retracement. Is that a wick over wick that it's referencing to the left?
Oh, this one here.
Yeah. That candle right there that you just circled, is that a wick over wick?
Yeah.
That little area right there is where he's going to find his first hiccup. His next hiccup most likely will be at the 38.
And if you notice, when I put my first target was right about in here. And I wasn't even looking at that. I was just looking at these lines right here.
And this will work out great if nothing else changes. Understand at any moment, some government Yahoo could come in and change it all. By the way, we did not close below the 35.91 for the third straight candle on the pound US, even though the pound is weakest across the board and the US was the strongest. That's a good trade. Aiden's, keep us posted on it if you would. I would be curious how that works out, because doing an indices swing, I don't know very many people that do that. And I'm all for that. Learning something new is always good for me.
See if I do this little wave. Remember, I put this here. Look where that is. Look where that stopped. Look where it retraced back. We did go back into the, but see how this wedge is getting tighter and tighter as you go further out. Now this was a new low. So here's an anchor. Here's a hit. I can move this thing over because this is still lower. And so there's an anchor, there's a near hit, there's a hit, there's a third hit, and now it's starting to break down.
Aiden's put that in a testimonial. Send that to us. He says, "I've been trading for 2 years now. I'm still a baby. I'm learning from the best. You are the best." I don't know. I can tell we're probably a good group of traders, especially with inside of our sphere of influence. I don't know too many people like Eva and Al, to be honest, or Pierre that's going to be joining our team. I don't know of 3 better people to make money with, or even lose money with from time to time. We do it. This next candle is now going to be the candle on the pound US. If you want to quickly look at that, Al, before we call it a day, because it is now 8:02. This is the candle that we've been waiting for that has
right
the
here's our target.
There's commitment to it.
Here's the first
candle.
See, let's get back over here to this. See what zones I'm on here. I'm on a 5-minute zone. So this is a 5-minute zone right down here. Here's a break. Now this is probably breaking through a 2-minute right now. If I put this on the 2-minute chart, and you can see here's a red 2-minute right where my first target is. Here's a green 2-minute right where the next target is. Yes, lots of downward pressure. Remember, I had to pull back, came back in. Now it's breaking target 1. Here's my target 2.
Across the Hercules, while you're looking at the screen, I'm looking at Hercules 6-0 on the hour, 6-0 on the 30-minute, 6-0 on the 15, and 6-0 on the 5. So this is the momentum
6-0.
candle.
I'm showing 4-0 on the 1 minute.
And now it's 5-0 on the 5. 6-0 now on the 15, or on the hour, 6-0 on the 30. It's 6-0 across the board.
You're looking at British US, right?
I am.
I have a 6-0, 4-0. That's 1 minute. Okay, I'll get back to the 5-minute here. Oh, wrong one.
I don't have a 1 minute Hercules. I don't use 15 minutes is sitting at 6-0. 5 minutes sitting at 6-0. They're all 6-0 across the board on mine. Very cool. That's a good trade. Now, what I would be doing for this one probably is I would be waiting for it to close and then check back that 35.91 for a short further down if all the pictures take. Yeah, I agree. We definitely, it's a different language. It is not easy. Trading is not easy until you get your plan in place. I actually have a book. My first trade plan was over 200 pages long. And I felt like I had to memorize everything that I did. Now I pretty much threw away 196 pages of it. And now I've got pretty much 4 pages of paper, basic foundations, and I know my contingencies are in my head. I know what I'm going to do, but that takes time. Initially, writing out your plan, sticking out. And what we're going to do is we're going to provide for you guys here. We got some other things working in the kettle right now that we don't have time to put a actual foundational plan for you guys, but we're going to be providing you guys in Hawkeye with a foundational plan, a picture, the videos for each tool, so you understand what the settings are, why they're that way, how to change them if you want to. But just having a trade plan foundation that you can take and you can mark up and create your own. That's the key. Strangely enough, our goal is to teach you well enough to where you don't rely on us as much, but you can help somebody else, because, you know, when it's all said and done and we all at one point are going to be gone, be able to help somebody else is the big thing. So, Al, we are past the hour.
Well, I guess we're just having too much fun.
It's a good thing.
But right now with this trade
Miss
right
Eva.
now, I hit my target 1. I'm still looking at the target 2 coming in. All of our moving averages are strong in the down direction, and we did get a 5-minute close below this one, and we may get a little bit of a pullback. Now you have a choice. You can just take your profit and call it thank you, and then if it pulls back, you can always be under a second time and look for the target 2.
Yep.
Nice
Guys,
area.
and if you have questions, guys, if you have questions during the day or during your trading, or you have something, email us at Hawkeye. Just email us. We check it. And so we're there to help you guys answer questions if you feel like you don't want to ask them in the chat box. Definitely ask, because there's not a dumb question. There's just dumb answers. All right. It's Al. It's all you.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody. We need to break away here, and we will see everybody tomorrow, same time, 7:30 to 9.
See you guys.
Tell everybody about Hawkeye.